The 2020 environmental trends in GCC countries, non-tariff environmental restrictions, and the establishment of a GCC pavilion at the conference of the parties COP28 topped the agenda of the 25th meeting of Their Highnesses and Excellencies the Ministers responsible for environmental affairs in the GCC countries, hosted by the Sultanate of Oman in the Wilayat of Al-Jabal Al-Akhdar in Adakhliya Governorate.
This meeting comes at a time when the environmental and climate change is on the international agenda on a continuous basis. All countries are competing in terms of their level of achievement and compliances. We have, of course, the Paris Agreement of 1.5 degrees. Many countries have announced net zero 2050, 2040, 2060, depending on the country. The objective of the meeting, or the main output of the meeting, is to ensure that the GCC countries are collaborating in all their activities that they're doing together.
The discussions also highlighted the strategic plan of the ministers responsible for environmental affairs, the Gulf Environmental Portal, cooperation with the United Nations Environment Programme, and unifying positions in the meetings of the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee to establish a legally binding international treaty on plastic pollution.
Big thank you to Sultanate Oman for hosting us here in Jabal Al-Akhdar. It's really a beautiful, peaceful place. We're in a protected area. It's ideal for the meeting of the Ministers of Environment of the GCC countries. And today we had our annual meeting and we agreed on many subjects that basically have a huge effect on the environment. We talked about the issue of plastic waste. We talked about the, some of the technical things that we want to do as a GCC family. It's very important because the UAE is hosting COP28 in less than 80 days, that we come out with one voice and that we come out with some of the achievements that we have done in the GCC country.
The meeting is really very important to strengthen the regional coordination between GCC countries on matters related to environmental protection and biodiversity and wildlife and all other matters related and air and climate and all other environmental matters. Really, it streamlines the views of GCC countries, strengthens the collaboration between GCC countries and their unified position in international environmental multilateral discussions.
Assigning the specialized committees of the GCC to prepare indicators to measure the extent to which the member states and the General Secretariat have implemented the environmental directions in the GCC countries. The GCC countries continue to implement what the Supreme Council affirmed in the 42nd session of its full support for the Green Middle East Initiative, where some of the key decisions brought up at the meeting.